Hey everybody, it's Tripl-L, and now let's talk Shokugeki no Soma, chapter 304. Alright, guys. This chapter didn't really bother me too much. I mean, I think it's a little bit ridiculous and a little bit hyperbolic at times, but that's Shokugeki no Soma. Asahi is a problem character down to his DNA, so he's prone to being hyperbolic. At this point, you just kind of have to accept that part. But yeah, before we get into talking about this chapter, let's get two silly things out of the way first. Because, you know, when you strip the drama away and you take that step back, like a few steps back, and you look at the situation unfolding in the Nakiri household, it's just pretty much these people would be so much happier if they just had Burger King kids meals when they were a kid. And just in general, we're okay eating Burger King or whatever fast food equivalent you want to throw in there. It's just, I think that's what they're really missing. Because Man is disgusted by food, and I really think it's because she just realized that no food is good enough for her tongue, or whatever the god tongue is. And it just kind of, again, makes me realize when you take into account their rhetoric against diners and all that thing, you realize that they really just need their food to be fun. Like, someone needs to give them a kid's meal. I bet if they were around when Burger King was doing the first 151 Pokemon promotion where they were giving out those Pokemon toys, these people would have loved food at that point. Because food would have been fun back then. But you guys get it. I do think it's kind of ridiculous when we're going into this degree. Just the fact that these people are getting obsessed over food. And Erina, like, she throws away food and it's like, girl, you know how much people would be happy to have those scraps? A lot of people. Because, geez, you're just wasting food. It's this kind of idea. In their search or in their quest for the ultimate flavor experience, these people just... they don't appreciate the work that goes into the steps. Like, they want to get all this perfection, they want to get all these perfect dishes, but it's like a lot of dishes are created through trial and error, and without an appreciation of the steps that it took to get you there, like, of course you're gonna have a really hollow life. But that is the problem or the flaw of the god tongue wielders, effectively. It's just that they can't see that very simple fact of appreciation. Like, that's all it is. Now, Mana's problem has gone to a whole other degree, but that's just really... You get a mix of pride, the way that the author's written it, and it's like, yeah, it would serve her better to just have some peanut butter squid. And I don't mean like the good one, I mean like the really bad one. Just have some peanut butter squid and then all of a sudden you will appreciate life a lot more. You actually, yeah, you know, there was that big joke, that big joke at the beginning, or like way back when during the Regiment de Cuisine, that if Erina had peanut butter squid, she would die. I wonder if she actually would die. I wonder if it's the peanut butter squid that's gonna save her. Anyway, that's the first silly thing, and then we'll talk about it because it's like, it's core to Soma's story arc, or it's core to the Soma manga. But the second thing that I want to say, and it's the silly thing, I am putting my bet down now. This is officially my bet. I am betting bragging rights. I will put it on Twitter at some point. I will put proof that this is the bet. I am betting chapter 305. They're gonna give us 5 chapters left. They're gonna give us that announcement or something like that. I am thinking in between chapter 310 and 312, because I can't really tell what they want to do with the epilogue. With 310 or 312, this thing's gonna be wrapped up. And I'm gonna just bet the next chapter we are getting the announcement that this thing is wrapping up. That's my bet. I don't know how possible it is, but I don't really care at this point. I'm just going with my gut. If we don't get it next time or in the next 5 weeks, then great. Awesome, we get to have more Soma. The author pulled off the most successful recovery I've ever seen in the history of Shonen Jump, aside from Katekyo Hitman Reborn. And then we can have fun. Nothing will change. That's my bet. Cool. If I get it wrong, then we can all, like I said, laugh, and you guys can make fun of me later. I don't mind. Anyway, the reason I'm bringing that up is just because, well, in this chapter, we end up in the situation that I thought was possible in last chapter. That is, it's going to be Soma versus Asahi, and most likely Erina versus Asahi's aid if he hasn't already been defeated in this tournament, or if he is even participating in this tournament. So we're already going there. Now, I'm not gonna lie, the author almost threw me off a little bit there, because I thought, all right, okay, author, Are you actually gonna have Soma fight against Asahi's lackey? Like, cause he still had to win a few matches, is what Soma said. And then you had the full skip, which just made me think like, yes, of course, this is what I was expecting. So good on you, author, for tricking me there for a second. By the end of the chapter, we're dealing with Soma versus Asahi, and it's just like, okay, yeah, that's about right. The worst. This was a very lackluster tournament arc. And just when you look at it, the fact that it just got glossed over, not even a panel to show you what Soma did, you know, this arc or this tournament didn't have important people. There were only 8 important people. Sorry, 9 because I didn't count Tsukasa. There were only 9 important people. Asahi's inner circle and Soma's inner circle plus Tsukasa. That's unfortunate. That sucks. That's not Shokugeki no Soma up to this point. And just everything about what they talked about the Nakiri family being like the leaders of the gourmet world, the fact that they're reiterating that now is just like, it is stupid that you have a tournament and you don't take more recommendations from Totsuki. It's stupid that Rindo wasn't there. It's stupid that none of the third years from previous year weren't there, especially considering that nominations from a relative nobody like Joey Chito are enough to push people into the... Well, I say relative nobody now, but he wasn't a nobody back then, but you get the point. These people, the people in Soma's years, they have accolades. Being an Elite 10 automatically has accolades. Being an Elite 10 in Totsuki already puts you above the majority of the people that were in the first gate. How do we know that? Because the majority of the people that were in the first gate were nobodies who were saying that specialty class meal is something that they have in Totsuki. And that's what they were being graded on. The fact that they're being graded on something that we already have introduced by the end of first year in Totsuki is like the big sign that, yo, the selection process for this whole thing was just bunk. I mean, like, it's just, we're reiterating the same points now. It's always funny when you hear about the Nakiri supremacy, and then you have these moments of just, you know, bad logic. Although, you know, it is important to point out, mana is a factor here. Mana might have stopped the alumni from coming in, or other people from Totsuki from coming in. Realistically, she could have, but it honestly looks like Mana left her family on not the worst terms. Mind you, she still left, but since Zaimon doesn't seem to hate her, it seems more like she just really hates herself and she just needed to go somewhere. Although I find it very funny that she ends up becoming the leader of the biggest food organization in the world when she was trying to get away from food. I find that very funny. And I also find that very she honestly could have done with just going to Hawaii. That probably would have been better for her. And, you know, thinking about it, I think she could have done with just traveling the world. She did not need to go back into such a big position. Now, other things going on in the chapter are, of course, like we have Erina's descent into darkness, where she's just saying that she thinks it's better to marry Asahi. And it's just like, Erina, shut up. He is a criminal. He kidnapped you. This is stupid. You're being stupid. This is stupidity beyond like any kind of normal degree. Use your head for a second. Mind you, people are complaining that, oh, it sucks that Erina's going down this pathway of falling into darkness again. But it's like, this is what the author has to do to make this thing worthwhile. Because God forbid you have Erina actually sticking up for herself and trying to, like, you know, remember the things she learned in just, I don't know, half a year ago. But no, man, you need the simplified character arc here. You need the simplified Erina being caught in darkness, because the only way to save Erina is for Erina to be in trouble or to let herself be in trouble. And that's pretty much what this chapter does. Erina falls into Asahi's plans here, and so now it sets Soma up to save her, to pull her out of the darkness, because it wasn't good enough in the Regiment de Cuisine arc, because in that arc Erina saved herself. But you can't have that here, because to get the Soma Erina thing going, you need to have this specific dynamic. I think this is really bad. In terms of the level of writing that Soma has given us before, I think this is really bad. In terms of the rehash, I think this is really bad. Not feeling it. That said, you know, the author's giving us that black box of family drama or previous drama in her life. And just when you get that black box, it's kind of hard to tell or to justify whether or not a person wouldn't behave the way Erina is. But again, Erina's gone through things already. She's had some lessons. It's kind of unfortunate that we have to reiterate these lessons. Now, that said, where you have one character falling apart, you have another character rising in Soma, because now Soma is putting up his opinion about the way that Erina's just kind of given up on this whole situation. And the moment that she suggested that it would be better for Soma to lose, you know, like, that's not going to fly with him. So that's one thing. And even though this whole situation is going bad, it's really good that Soma isn't visibly phased. Because again, it just reiterates that Soma's a very competent protagonist. The only thing I don't like is that one other competent protagonist has to get degraded in order to raise Soma. Because Soma doesn't need Erina to be screwed up. He can carry things by himself. He doesn't need this extra pressure of having to save Erina. And then, you know, he also has that little thing about the God tongue doesn't let you say what you need to say to people. You know, I find that line pretty cool, but it's just, guys, we're talking about a woman that just is too elitist for her own good. So anything that involves that God tongue and the author trying to put it into a rhetoric, it just feels a little bit forced instead of something natural. Like the God tongue, you know, with the God tongue, you also have to like start raising that question of like how much nature and nurture affect this. Like, was Azami actually that bad? If this is the history of the Nakiri clan, that's the next thing you have to ask, because they point out that yeah, every generation someone falls to the God tongue, and every generation prays that it's not going to be their generation that has one of those dropouts. And it's just like, okay, if this is that bad, then how bad was Azami's training actually? Because it seems like everyone goes down this path. So that's another big problem there. It's just, you're making the system seem really like a systemic failure, and Azami's presence in it doesn't really seem like he broke it. It just, yeah, I don't know, man. It's one of those things that I wish got fleshed out more. It's interesting, but it being a curse of the family, yeah, that's weird. It's just another thing to try and justify why the stakes are going to be kind of high. Of course, we have like the Asahi bits of this chapter 2, which is just him looking like a villain. It's just like, Asahi, I don't care anything. I don't care about anything that you say. I don't care that you think you're going to bring the Nakiri family to happiness. I don't care. You're Subaru on steroids who can't talk to a girl, so he decides to kidnap her. You are not any kind of role model that I want. Although I will admit, good job on the kidnapping. It makes it really seem like a dick villain, and you're doing really well at that. I do want to see Soma smash you, but it's not for the good reasons. That's how I kind of feel about Asahi. So, with this chapter, what do we have? What was really good? Well, I think the background on Mana is good. I think that's worthwhile, like beyond the silliness of it. I think Soma's reaction to this whole situation is good, and I'm happy that we're going to deal with Asahi. The next question is, how many chapters are we dedicating to Asahi? Well, I don't know. What does the author want to accomplish? Is he pushing for Erina x Soma, or is he pushing for Soma versus Asahi? Because next chapter, everyone from the Polar Star dorm is going to be there too. Or at least people that matter are going to be there. So, I don't know. Like, in my mind, we still have to save Erina, and we still have to get Mana to eat food. Those are two really big things. And, like, honestly, the fact that we have to do those two things is what's making me feel like, okay, this is what has to get... this is what's probably going to elongate the chapters, because there's still a little bit, but... if we go into the next chapter and we finish the Soma Asahi fight with one chapter, then we'll know. Then we'll know that Asahi was as trashy as we all thought he was. So I'm kind of rooting for that. I'm kind of rooting that Asahi gets the one chapter treatment. Although Shonen Convention would say no to that, I am so pushing for that. Because then everything that we've said about Asahi being stupid, or for anyone that has said that, it'll come true in that moment. The moment that the author decides to give his climactic villain one chapter. That's where you know things have fallen apart. But in all seriousness, seriousness though, the maximum we'll get for Asahi is 3 chapters. The most likely thing that we'll get for Asahi is 2 chapters, and what I'm really rooting for is 1 chapter. So, guys, that's it for now. Those are my thoughts. A lot of stuff to talk about. It's a mixed bag of good things and bad things, rises and falls. But yeah, Soma, are we gonna get past the blue in this series? I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just very interesting. So guys, till next time, I hope you have an absolutely great day, and thanks for listening to this very long Soma video. Anyway, yeah, till next time.